thought question here before they begin the article to break apart what asked to do, and we color code with the highlighting features right here what they need to do. In this case, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 things that they have to do. This is okay, so you have 4 purposes here. Before we move on, okay, state what's our purpose, what are we looking for, absolutely have to find in addition to what you want to find on your own. Then when they go into the article, and it varies, this particular article with this particular class, I kept this up here. They all had their computers all working on their own 2nd grade reading level up to the 7th grade reading level, and they told me what to highlight. And if you're working on a 2nd grade reading level and you wanted more information, then you jump over to the stretch article. Even though it's way above their level, they're willing to go in there and dig because they want to contribute something. So see, this would be somebody taking me over here and asking me to pull something from there. I don't take them over here. I only go there if they pull me over there. So you go back to the article, and I don't remember if I've deleted this out with this particular group or not, but we've just started in here getting them to either, in here there isn't anything necessarily, but I'm to the point now that I want them to ask questions, ask teacher-like questions about what they just read up here. Electronic waste is called e-waste, and then I make them come up with a teacher-like question here, or 2, and they continue down after each section doing the same thing. I think I probably deleted, yeah. Or I might say I want you to summarize with the sentence all the way through, and then we're just learning this, like I just figured this out here. But if we click on that, it kind of keeps our stuff organized for us. I didn't know that until one of the kids clicked on it and they were like, look, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So we're learning how to highlight in a way that we're not separating things. We're fully highlighting what we need to highlight. So it pulls out what they need completely here and organizes it, not just words. More of a complete thought. But before they actually begin reading, and I forgot to mention that I go back in and I do touch base with the vocabulary, and we compare. When I'm doing the on grade level, and I'll toggle back and forth with this. This is a 900 Lexile level. I'll pull up my vocabulary, that's the on grade level, and I'll say, okay, raise your hand if you have the word dismantle. And okay, after I go through, these are the 3 words. Raise your hand if you have a word on yours that's not on ours. Okay, what do you have? We talk about what you have. So this can be something that takes 2 days, maybe even 3 days, if you go through all of these steps. So sometimes you might brush over the vocabulary so you can get to something else. Sometimes you're focusing on this, not that. Sometimes you're focused on that, not this. But then by the time they get through here, they're to answer the thought question even before they go to the activity. And they're to answer the thought question as they're reading, as they're highlighting. Okay, and then sometimes I decide if I want it to be 1 paragraph, 2 paragraphs, or 3 paragraphs. It just depends on the amount of time we have and the amount of information that they give. And I tell the kids now, and I even go up here and put on the screen up here, break it down, and I show them the difference between the questions. And okay, now what does this one have that this one doesn't have? And what do we have to do to get this one to look like that one? Well, if you want yours to look more like that, then you have to score 75 or higher on X number of articles, and then it'll push you up further. And I let them really look at the different, I'll even let them see, you know, what an article looks like from way over there. And this, it saves the highlighting from, like I can't delete this. This isn't highlighted in the right place. Because if I wanted, this is a feature that needs to be changed. If I want to remove one piece of highlighting, it removes everything. So that's kind of a bit of a flaw in the program. Then after they've done the thought question, they've done the reading, they've done all of that, then they go in and they do the activity completely without me. That would be the 8 multiple choice questions. Then if they score 75 or higher the first attempt, that's when they get their little ticket, and they put their little ticket up there, and then I posted it out there on the wall. And that's how we get through it. But this can take, you could easily spend 3 days doing this.
And so
Sometimes it's whole group, sometimes it's do half of it in whole, do the before reading poll question whole group, do the thought question preview in whole group, then send them on the reading part and the note taking and highlighting part. You're working independently, I'm working with you guys back here at the table on your computers, or we're doing it like this on paper. We're breaking it apart here in the same way that you would be doing it on the computer, but everybody at that table has the same level printed out, and then like this would be somebody's answer to, I don't remember whose this is, but that's a pretty good answer for somebody reading on a 3rd grade reading level, 2nd grade reading level. And this would be wherever that one was highlighted. Right. Oh. And this is me with them, asking questions as they're reading, breaking apart the article.
is this small group?
This is the
Okay.
small group that I'm working with at the back table. This would be the below grade level group that we're working on. So we've gone all the way through this article. They haven't actually answered these. I will have them do this part independently without me after I preview those questions, which sometimes I preview these questions before we even read that, because you can't do it in there. We just got as far as these 2 things. So they're now ready in this group to answer these by themselves. Then I will check them. Then I'll pull them back again and we'll discuss. And then I'll have them go on the computer and do it on the computer after we've had discussion. So. Anyways,
And you are reading language arts combined, correct?
right, yes.
And
For
how
6th grade.
often would you say you teach with Achieve?
That's iffy. Sometimes only, it's not even once a week.
And what?
I haven't been able to do it once a week. And
If I do it during the week, I don't do it one day during the week. I might do it 3 days during the week, but we have to share the computer card.
Okay. And your
So-
decisions are made based on computer cart, but
Right.
also
And what topics we need to get covered in the reading basal, but we're gonna break out of the basal next year and use this more as a source of,
they're reading.
right, because text structures, and there are so many things like graphic organizers that are in here that we use.
And we started off on the basil this year and started having, like last year we talked about breaking out of the basil, but it's very structured, so it's very convenient for us. So this year, we started with the basil, and then 2nd semester, we started to break away a little bit more, take smaller bits and pieces from the basil. So we're just trying to focus probably next year on the structure of where Achieve will fit
We are just trying to figure it out.
everything
We
else.
really are.